80% of runners got injured in 2024, and a lot of these running injuries could have been prevented with the right exercises. If you aren't rehabbing an injury, you should be prehabbing and prioritizing exercises that work on decreasing your risk for injury. Now, as a physical therapist, I like to say that these exercises fall into two different buckets. You have the exercises that work on mobility, and mobility just means that you're improving your range of motion at the joint. Now that you have that range of motion, you can work on stability exercises, which means you're controlling the movement through this range of motion. So you don't have any instability, and you also don't have any joint stiffness, which can affect your running form. So today I want to show you 5 of my favorite prehab or preventative exercises from 2024 that you can do so you can prevent injuries in 2025. So let's get started. For the first exercise, you're going to need a foam roller, and we're going to address the hips and single leg stability. This exercise is called airplanes, and it's one of my favorite because it's one of those exercises when you do it, you feel it in multiple areas. Like I said, single leg stability, so it works on that ankle stability, and then hip internal and external rotation. We're working on the mobility as we control the motion through that range. So yes, this exercise is done slow and controlled. Grab a foam roller. It's okay if it's the longer one or even the shorter one. All you're gonna do is place it against the wall, and then if the wall's on my left side, I'm gonna put my right foot on the ground, and then I'm just gonna place the foam roller on the inside of my right knee. Now from this motion, I'm gonna stand on one leg. I'm gonna cross my arms. If you have really bad balance, you can keep them out to the side, and all you're going to do is rotate right, slow and controlled as far as you can, and then rotate left. As you do this, you're rotating your shoulders with your hips and your trunk. It goes as one unit to the right and to the left. Now, if you want to progress this exercise, you can always hold a weight like a med ball or a plate, but this exercise is really good to do if you have a weak gluteus medius, maybe you have a history of ITB syndrome or runner's knee, even ankle sprains, because we are working on some dynamic single leg stability. In this exercise, we are upgrading those donkey kicks into what's called donkey toes. So what you're gonna do is get on all fours, you're gonna tuck your toes, and you're gonna lift your knees up. Now, you're gonna hold this position, and you wanna make sure that your hips are facing the ground the entire time. We don't wanna be rotating our hips. If we are doing so, then we need to modify this exercise. But as you come up onto your toes and your hands, you're maintaining a neutral spine. Lift up, and then you're going to go into those donkey kicks where I'm keeping my knee bent and I'm just lifting my foot up towards the ceiling. Now, as I lift my foot up, my knee is coming up to hip height. I'm not trying to arch my back as I lift up. Slow and controlled is the name of the game here. So all you want to do, keep your hips down, breathe, neutral spine, up with control, and down. And you can alternate, but again, you want to make sure you're not rotating your hips as you bring your leg up and down. Donkey kicks are great if you have a history of runner's knee, you have a history of ITB syndrome, you have a history of groin pain or adductor pain, or again, you just want to use your glutes more when you're running and you want to build a stronger core. Grab your foam roller again for exercise number 3. As you can see, I love to use my foam roller for not just rolling out the muscles before a run. They also make a great exercise prop and tool. So what we're going to do is get into a bridge position. I'm going to put the ball of my foot and kind of like my midfoot on the foam roller with both legs. So to get in this position, laying on my back, I'm gonna have the ball of my feet on the foam roller. Knees are bent, but I'm not bending my knees so far where I'm at this very strict angle of my knees. I'm gonna keep them out just a little bit to work my hamstrings. All I'm gonna do, keep my arms up so I'm not cheating by pushing my shoulders down into the ground. and I'm gonna lift up into a bridge. Now this is the first progression of the exercise, and as you do this, I can feel that my hamstrings are on fire when I do this. So just prepare yourself. Hamstrings are gonna be burning. But if you wanna progress this exercise, so first things first, you can hold 5-10 seconds and then come down. And you're lifting with your glutes, lifting up. You're not feeling anything in your low back, just lifting with your glutes and your hamstrings. So if you're finding that to be easy, you can progress it with a march as you march up and down, up and down. Now, if you progress it with a march, just make sure that your pelvis, as you march up and down, it's not rocking, it's not dipping, your butt isn't tapping the ground as you lift up and down. If that's the case, go back to this exercise here where you're just lifting and lowering, or if you want to try, you can do little marches here, progress them into bigger marches, and you will be able to progress that exercise. Great exercise to work on that pelvic stability, that glute stability, hamstring stability, and that trunk stability, so you make sure you're not rotating as you march, one knee up and one knee down. The fourth exercise is all about calf strength and big toe stability. So we're gonna upgrade those single leg calf raises, and we're gonna do it with a little bit of a lean. So this lean, we're leaning towards the medial part of our foot where our big toe is, which means we have to stabilize through our big toe, and we're gonna focus on strengthening the arch and strengthening more of the medial calf versus both the lateral and medial calf with the single leg heel raise. So all you're gonna do, have a wall nearby. I'm gonna stand on my right leg, which means I'm gonna be strengthening my right side. Wall is to my left. So I'm gonna stand a couple feet, maybe 2 feet away from the wall. I'm shorter, so if you're taller, you might have to stand further away. All I'm gonna do is come up on my toes and then back down. Now I can make this a little bit harder and bring my foot further out, up and down. So the whole idea here, as you come up, you're pushing through your big toe and then you're coming back down with control. I'm not just going up and down as fast as I can. This is all about slow and control. All of these prehab exercises should be done slow and controlled. We're not focusing on speed here. We're not focusing on how much we can lift because they're all body weight. So make it slow and controlled as you bring your heel up and down as far as you can, so you're focusing on that quality of movement versus just cranking out the reps or trying to lift as much as you can in a short period of time. Now this exercise is really good if you've had plantar fasciitis, if you've had shin splints, if you have a history of Achilles tendonitis, or if you just want to get stronger, you want to run faster, because you know we need calf strength in order to run faster, but we also need that ankle stability. So this exercise addresses that as well. Exercise number 5, we're upgrading our side plank and we're going into what's called side plank toe tap. So this is working on our hip stability, our core stability, our pelvic stability, and our trunk stability as well. So get into the side plank position. And all you're gonna do when you lift up, you're lifting that leg up. So as I lift my leg up, I am making sure my pelvis isn't rocking forward or backwards. My toes are facing straight ahead. They're not tilted up. They're not tilted down. They're facing straight ahead, and my pelvis is in that neutral position. So my body's in one straight line. I like to put my hand on my pelvis just to make sure I'm not rocking it back or rocking it too far forward. So as we get up in this position, you're tapping your toe down in front and you're tapping it behind and up. Tap, up, tap, down. As you can imagine, this is burning the hip in the best way possible. You are working on that glute med stability, which we all know runners usually have pretty weak glute med. So this is a great one as you progress with your glute med exercises and strength and stability. You're maybe finding like a side plank like this as you hold it. It's getting a little bit easier. You want another challenge. Try those side plank toe taps. They will do the trick. I always like to do 10, so you're tapping 10 forward and 10 backwards as you're alternating, and it works the core as well, so that's a win-win. These exercises, in order for them to be effective, they need to be done slow and controlled You need to compare how one side feels to the other side. If it's a unilateral exercise, such as those airplanes, then you can start to pick up on these areas of weakness. And then you address these areas of weakness consistently with these exercises so that you can prevent those injuries down the road. Now, as you could see, I put a lot of glute stability, glute strength, glute med stability exercises in these 5 because I just think that's really important as a runner, and it's important to prevent that hip drop when we're running, keep that pelvis stable and those hips stable, and also just for injury prevention. So if you want more exercises that address the glute med, make sure you click this video and watch it as I walk you through some more exercises that you can do for injury prevention.